In this lesson we want to show some advanced techniques for PowerPoint that allow us to build a little more advanced templates. I have opened up the kind strategy template which we created earlier in earlier lessons. I've opened it up to the learning event of showing an example and the definition. My challenge here is that I would like to show an example of a search warrant. This is a long document. In the template which I previously created, I have put here a place to put a picture, but instead of a picture I want a text document, so I'm going to eliminate this particular placeholder, and instead of that I'm going to insert a text box, but I want a text box that can show the whole warrant, so I need a text box that will scroll and show a bigger document. To do that, I've gone to the banner up here and I've clicked on Developer. So I've added the Developer tab. The Developer tab will allow me to add in the kind of a text box I want. So I click on the Developer tab and you see here a number of controls. The control I want is this one here with a little alphabet in it. It's called an ActiveX text box. So we'll click on that and we will add our text box here, and maybe that's about the right size. So now we've added our text box. However, to make this text box scroll and to do the things we want, we need to do a bit more. Every object in PowerPoint has a whole list of properties underlying it. We can actually look at those properties and modify some. So we're going to right click on this and we'll see a thing here that says Property Sheet. I think it shows up on your thing. We'll click Property Sheet and now we have a whole list of properties that we can adjust. And so I'm going to adjust some of these properties. Some of the ones we want here is I want to be able to enter key behavior needs to be true. So I click on this. It's false here. I'm going to change it to true. In addition, I want to check on the font size. So if I go to font, it's Arial. That's fine, but I think it's going to be too big. So I'm going to go here. It's size 14, and I want it. I put more text in. I'm going to go to about 11. And so that changes the size of the font a little bit there. Now another thing I want to do is I want to have some scroll bars. So I came down here to scroll bars, and right now there's none. So I'm going to click here. One of the options I have is vertical scroll bars. So this will allow us to put a long document in. So I'm going to do that. Another thing I need to have is make sure that I have multiple lines. Here it says multiple lines are false. I want to make sure that that's true. And one more thing I need to check is to make sure that the word wrap, which is down here at the bottom, is true, and it is. So with those characteristics, and you can play with all the others here, you can do almost anything by changing color, text style, etc. But I think those will allow us to have the text box that we want. So we'll now close down this, and we've now created a scrolling text box. Now the scroll bars don't show up until we actually put text in it, which we'll show in a minute. The next thing I might want to do, well, I must first tell you that we cannot put a scrolling text box as a placeholder in a slide master. So we've had to add it. We've had to have already created our template and put it into our PowerPoint, and then we've added it to the template there because it can't be part of the slide master. But let's suppose that I want two of these slides with a scrolling text box. To get the next one, I merely have to duplicate this. One way to do it is to go here. I can click on this. I can right click and say duplicate the slide, and now I have two here, and we'll go back to our editing. So now if I go here, you can see that I've got I actually have two of them. Here's one, here's the second one. And now when I save this, as we did before, I can save it as a PowerPoint template, and it will include these two additional slides now with this scrolling text box on it. So let's close it down. Well, let's first save it. Let me go here and save it. So we're going to go here to save it. We're going to save as we did before. We find a place to save it here, and then we're going to go to the that'll show me where I'm going to save it. But first of all, we want to go down here and make it into a template. So we're going to make it into a PowerPoint template, which is there, and then we're going to save it as a PowerPoint template. Okay, so now we've saved it as a PowerPoint template. So now we're going to close this down. we're going to open PowerPoint, and now we can see down here we have the personal ones again. So if I go to personal here again, there will be a template here, and this is the one that says advanced template. That's the one I saved it as. So if we click here and now we create it, it will now open our template, and you will notice in our template we now have our scrolling text boxes on a couple of slides. Now, in order to actually put text in these text boxes, so now we're in here to our presentation that we want to make, and we're going to put content in. So in order to put content in here, I right click on the text box, and I come up here to where it says text box object, and over to the right, which you probably can't quite see, it says edit. So I'm going to choose edit, and this will allow me to type anything into this text box. I used a very small print because I'm assuming people will see this close up, and I wanted to add a whole document in. As before, I can copy and paste the document into this text box. Okay, now I have selected the text that I want to paste here. I've copied it. I come here and make sure that I'm in edit mode. I can see that I am here, and I paste it here. And that pasted all this document, and you can see a scroll bar appeared here, so I can roll up, and you can see that this entire document is now here that can be viewed. There is one caveat. It's when you placed in a scrolling text box, some of the formatting may go away, so you may need to come in here and put in some carriage returns and things. I won't bother to do that, but we can put it here. And of course, over here in the description or the definition, we could describe what a warrant is. We could describe the parts of it and various things. But you can see here that this enables us to have large documents inserted into our template. And of course, if we go to the next screen, I still have another blank, so we could put another document here, and we could duplicate these slides to create more. We will later use this particular operation as we create additional templates down the road.